Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News, a massive news day today. Sentinels confirming their entire lineup for 2023. Bang potentially re-signed on 100 Thieves until 2025. And also Marved explaining he's not going to be joining a partnership team, certainly not for the start of the season. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Loads of new subs yesterday on the laptop setup again here for a couple of days, but it should be all good. Firstly, to mention, Harbor is now officially in the game, and as Governor says, you apparently ADS and shoot faster with Harbor for some reason. And of course, Ye does kind of love this whole ADS and shooting strategy, so maybe Harbor could be a play, but yeah, that's a very strange glitch if this is unintentional, which I certainly imagine that it is. Speaking of Harbor, just quickly here, some stats on how difficult it is to break his smoke orb, because obviously, like, it has a certain degree of health, this smoke orb, and if you break the health, then it goes away. So it takes about 13 bullets. I believe it has 500 health, so that's about what you're looking for, and 4 shots with the operator will get the job done. And as soon as you break it, like, shooting faster won't get rid of it. Once you break it, then it just disappears within about a second, regardless of if you shoot it any further. So that's basically how the orb works, if you guys are unfamiliar. This is the entire global esports team. I mean, yeah, look at this team, all the different kind of names from many different regions and organizations in the past. So yeah, global esports certainly living up to their name in that sense and putting together an absolutely global roster all across the board. So we saw a lot of these names the last few days, but certainly thought that was worth mentioning for you guys yet again. And this quickly then from G2, because confirmation coming out yesterday from the Heretic side of where Mixwell is going to end up. But yes, G2 confirming their Valorant run is over for now. It may well be continuing in the Tier 2 side. We don't as yet know what their plans are for Tier 2, whether there are any plans there for G2 at all in the Tier 2 Ascension League. But yeah, as G2 say, their time in Valorant is over. Nuki, Mixwell, all these guys are going to be released. They're looking to explore their options. And yeah, G2 expected to get through to the Franchise League, of course. They probably would have done if not for all the Carlos drama that happened not that long ago now. And of course, G2 in that situation and are thinking, well, what do we do? They were probably going to get rid of their team regardless because they wanted to move to North America. That seemed to be what was going to happen. And whether they still will for Tier 2, that remains to be seen. Many organizations right now weighing up their choices, whether they grind through Ascension, whether they do not. And look, it could be worthwhile for them, but still, maybe it's not, right? It could be an absolute money sink if the team that they decide to sign, if they do, doesn't do so well. But yeah, the end of an era, G2 out of Valorant, at least for the time being. And along those lines, Mixwell is confirmed then to Heretics as we expected. So, kind of one of the first pieces of their puzzle. I believe he also said, Mixwell, that this is pretty much going to be his last team. Like, whatever team he joins next, as in Heretics, is going to be, this is where he's going to stay for the end of his career, I think. So, legendary player from Counter-Strike, even into the Valorant days, and Heretics is going to be an understandable destination. Now, speaking of G2, some sources are suggesting that they are looking for a Tier 2 roster. So, Bodork says what Flynn said. Now, Flynn's tweet was actually deleted on this, but yeah, just interesting to note. But G2 are apparently looking to build a roster in North America for Tier 2. Like, some are saying they're not, some are saying that they are. So, like, apparently they're not really sure if they are actually committing to Valorant, but it's at least a consideration for G2 to try and make a roster in North America along with TSM and probably FaZe and other organizations that are going to keep going with their Valorant projects. Now, let's talk about Sentinels. As TenZ says, this new UI has been whiffed on the main menu, right, because they updated a lot about Valorant over the last 24 hours here. But speaking of Sentinels, they confirmed their final piece of the puzzle last night, and even this I thought was funny here from George Geddes, that many people were pointing this out actually, that if you looked on the Sentinels website for the player jerseys, you could see Sassy, Pancada, and then Dephh actually is here already. So funny how they pretty much already put Dephh on the website, despite the fact that he wasn't actually officially announced yet when this went live. So the organizations don't exactly help themselves, keeping things a bit quiet. But yeah, Sick Dapper, Tarek, all these other guys that you can get from various esports. But yeah, Dephh was already on here and they thought, okay, we leaked it. That's unfortunate. Let's just go ahead and announce it, right? So we have the full pieces of the puzzle now for Sentinels. You can't escape the British, right? Here comes Dephh into the team as their British IGL of the roster. Partnered up very well with Zekken last season and Psycho, and like on the XZ team from last season, and he's going to be the IGL. So I think he's got a fair bit of work to do. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, in fairness, as chosen as the kind of key IGL for this team. But in fairness, right, it makes a lot of sense. If you're a North American organization looking for an IGL, you were going to look at FNS, you were going to look at Dephh, and look, they could get Dephh. That's what they decided to do. As I say, he has got to deal with some questions on this team, at least in terms of communication, right? Because obviously it's going to be an English-speaking team, but but making sure Pancada's on the same wavelength and has the full understanding and, you know, can speak in a certain way to make sure the entire team with the Brazilian guys is all coalescing well, then I think that's a key point for Dephh to try and deliver. But understandable, the Sentinels guys are building around him as the IGL, and look, he's going to have the task of really setting up TenZ, I suppose, to be in the best possible position. That is kind of the plan here. Like the last season or so, really, with ShahZaM as the IGL, TenZ has been occasionally delivering phenomenal performances, but wasn't quite as well positioned necessarily to do so as he probably will be in this team. That is the intention. Like, look, TenZ has been the win condition for Sentinels the last couple of years, and last year either they weren't setting him up so well, or his individual level kind of wasn't quite where he needed to be to really absolutely carry the team every single map. And of course, you don't want to get carried by one player every single map, but this team now has the other pieces of firepower to take over if TenZ is not having the greatest map. But also, they can play in such a way, and Dephh, I'm sure, understands how to set the team up in the best way to make sure their star player is delivering the most possible amount of damage. That's the way that Cloud9 will do it with Ye. That's the way that Sentinels and Dephh will probably try and do it with TenZ. So the full roster confirmed. What do you guys think? Of course, we saw Zelsis say yesterday that he could have potentially gone to SEN, but he decided to go to Cloud9 because he thinks that they have a better project, better chances to win. So who's the better team? SEN and Cloud9, those are the two key confirmations that we have so far in the North American side. And also one of the concerns, right, has been the communication issues, but Pancada has said that he's not really concerned about that. And in fairness, he's got quite some time to improve his English over the next few months before the league begins in Sao Paulo. The event there happens in February, so he's got a fair few months to figure everything out and make sure things are working internally. But in fairness, teams will already be starting to scrim and get some practice in with their new lineup. Before we talk Cloud9, this quickly from Ocelot Sports here, pretty much the agency that Bang, I guess, is under, and they confirmed yesterday, despite no confirmation from 100 Thieves themselves, that Bang has extended his contract with 100 Thieves up to 2025. This makes a lot of sense in fairness, given the fact that Marved is now not an option at all, and Bang, I guess, now becomes the best, maybe American controller player in the world. You could argue. I think a great pickup for 100 Thieves when they decided to get him in the first place, right? Some people said this Bang guy wasn't really it, but I think a lot of people saw that, yeah, this guy really had a lot of potential. Asuna rates him very highly as well. But yes, a 2025 extension, like a lot can happen in 3 years of esports. I guess maybe it's well, it could be a 2-year deal until 2025, but still, it's a pretty long extension. They're committing to Bang for the long term, despite not having announced this officially. It's just from the agency themselves that confirm this. Now, speaking of Cloud9, before we talk Marved, this just quickly from Vanity, glad to see another patch without a chamber nerf. I think he needs to get buffed at play Valorant, right? Effectively kind of talking about the fact that Ye is probably rather good with the chamber, now he has him on his team. And also worth noting here, we do already have some scrim bucks coming out from certain sources. This is seemingly the Cloud9 team in a scrim last night playing, and they're up 11-3. We don't know who they're playing against. It could be absolutely nobody, but you know, still just worthy of note that Cloud9 already delivering some decent performances on the private match servers ahead of the upcoming season. Now, this from Marved, let's talk about this. He's mentioned this on stream, and he's also put it as a command in his chat as well as to his plans for the upcoming season. We know that Bang is going to extend on 100 Thieves. All the other offers for Marved have kind of now fallen through, and we saw Zoms the other day suggested that it's Marved's personal choice to take a break and maybe take a year out for competing, and he pretty much confirms that on stream last night, saying that yes, indeed, he's well, he's had offers, but for personal reasons and for family reasons and not wanting to relocate for now, he wants to stay where he is and not compete for the time being.
The main reason I don't want to join a team yet is because I have stuff to take care of at home. I want to be at home. So yeah, I've gotten a couple offers from teams, but of course, franchising, you have to move to Los Angeles, and I don't know. It's not the time for me to do that right now. I'm still young.
As that clip I shared was from a day or two ago, but this I believe was very recently written by Marved in his chat. I did have many offers in the franchise league, but with feelings of being burnt out for a while and my current life situation with family, friends and loved ones, and also with how much traveling needs to be done, I've decided as of right now to take a break. That does not mean I am done, but as of now, I will be taking a break. So yeah, I mean, look, it's good that Marved realizes that he needs to take a break and take a bit of time off, feeling burnt out after being on the best team in the world in OpTic for quite some time, I'm sure. sure would be like, yeah, understandable. And also he says he doesn't really want to move from where he currently is over to Los Angeles because that's where he would have to live and stay and practice with the new team. So he wants to take some time away. That's understandable. The issue is, what does it mean for his future as a player? Because, like, as he says, he did have offers in the franchise league, and I guess now he's run out of North American offers, so he might still have an offer if he really wanted to commit to it in maybe APAC or Europe, but like obviously that doesn't compete with wanting to stay kind of where he is at the moment geographically. So this pretty much, like, what does it mean for the future, right? Because if Marv does want to come back, and he's certainly like a phenomenal player, right? Best controller arguably in the world for some time, incredible clutch player as well. The idea of him not being in the franchise league is honestly kind of a massive surprise, but also by not taking up any of these offers, like what does his situation look like in the future? Because by not playing, he's going to fall out of the consciousness to some degree in terms of like your general managers wanting to sign players, and therefore what are his chances if teams want to make moves to actually get him? I still think he can and probably will in the future. Like if any of these top North American teams don't perform, Marved will be one of the first guys they probably call up to try and improve their lineup, and look, he still needs to play, and look, he can do content and make that work as well. But just interesting stuff I thought from Marved here, confirming that he will indeed be taking a break. Is this a good idea? Is this not? I suppose that'll only remain to be seen, but good on him taking care of himself and his family for sure. And just to mention a couple of things before we close out here, the spreadsheets for the entirety of Tier 2. Now, GMD here says that TSM, the leaks about this, are not correct, but this is the entire spreadsheet that Flynn has put together. I'll try and put it up on the big screen for you guys. There is, I believe, a small mistake in this where Shopify Rebellion, like Pura, should be here on Sonics, and then Shopify are actually going to get either Flyer or V1C, I believe, as their player instead. But, I mean, yeah, you guys can see what's going on here probably just about. And it has TSM down here as Nismo, potentially Xander, BCJ, Rossi, GMD7, Koala Noob, even though they're very low percentage chance options, as is pointed out here by the colours next to it. But yeah, who knows what's going on, but Tier 2 Rostermania is imminent as well. Very much interested your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, take care, and I'll see you next time.